Is your mind really under your control? Just think about it for a second. Do you actually control your daily choices? Or are massive, multi-billion-dollar marketing companies and complex algorithms secretly manipulating your decisions without you even realizing it?
Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because we are diving into something incredibly fascinating today. We're talking about the human mind. But we aren't going to just look at it as a biological organ or some dry, abstract scientific concept. No. According to our source material today, the human mind is literally the most powerful weapon on Earth, and it's a weapon that desperately needs to be mastered. I mean, if you can truly understand its functions, its hidden patterns, and its behaviors, there is virtually no limit to where it can take you.
Is your mind really under your control? Just think about it for a second. Do you actually control your daily choices? Or are massive, multi-billion-dollar marketing companies and complex algorithms secretly manipulating your decisions without you even realizing it? We all love to think we're entirely independent. But the reality? Well, it might just shock you.
So here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with mastering your mind, then we'll look at emotions versus logic, navigate the world's dark side, dive into the power of the subconscious mind, and finally, we'll talk about beginning your journey.
All right, let's jump right into part one, master your mind.
A lot of folks think psychology is just this dry, academic subject, meant only for doctors or researchers sitting in a lab. But actually, scratch that. It is the ultimate tool to get a mirror reflection of our own thoughts. Like, how many of us can relate to this? At home, hanging out with friends and family, we're roaring lions, right? We're confident, loud, totally ready to speak our minds. But the second we have to step onto a stage in front of a big audience, completely speechless. We just freeze up. Why does that happen? Well, it's all psychology. When you finally understand why you take certain actions, you can step in and actually control that behavior. In fact, decoding and reprogramming these exact psychological patterns is exactly how towering figures like Oprah Winfrey overcame severe early life challenges and depression to completely transform their lives and achieve massive global success.
Moving right along to part two, emotions versus logic. Our source material emphasizes a really fundamental truth here. Humans are deeply emotional animals, and your ultimate success in life is dictated by how you handle the exhausting, never-ending daily battle between your logical brain and your overwhelming feelings. I mean, every single day is a literal tug of war. You set your alarm, morning comes, logic tells you, hey, wake up early, get to work, build your future. But your emotion whispers, just sleep a little more, darling. So job, baby. Logic says, eat healthy today. But then you're walking down the street, you smell those amazing momos, and boom, your health goals are thrown right out the window. Logic tells you to focus on your career, but emotion convinces you to just sit on the couch and scroll through mindless short-form reels for 2 hours.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. If you want to achieve anything significant in life, you simply cannot let these fleeting emotions run the show. To bring true stillness and silence to a restless mind, you have to understand the psychological triggers behind these emotions. When you know exactly what triggers your desire to procrastinate or eat junk food, you can anticipate it, intercept it, and finally master it. And that, right there, is the secret to greatness.
Okay, on to part three, the world's dark side.
Of course, this whole battle isn't just happening inside your own head. When you step out into society, you'll inevitably encounter people who hide their true reality. Because let's face it, everyone has two sides, the pleasant mask they show the world and their private reality. Toxic people hide deep insecurities and suppress negative emotions right behind that public mask. And if you don't understand human psychology, you'll easily fall victim to their manipulation. But if you master psychology, you can decode this hidden dark side. You start to see right through the mask. Doing so gives you a massive advantage, allowing you to develop really crucial communication and leadership skills simply because you finally understand what is truly driving the people around you.
Zooming out from individuals to society as a whole, the source makes a fascinating argument about systemic control. The analysis neutrally reports that the top 1% intentionally trap the masses in cheap entertainment. We're talking reality TV shows like Big Boss, viral memes with Elvish Yadav, celebrity gossip, or obsessing over cricket player stats. Why do they do this? So that the masses never cross over to deep concepts. If you're constantly distracted by the shiny stuff, you never develop rational thinking, and you never start asking questions about philosophy, human psychology, or wealth building. The source notes that keeping people entertained keeps them entirely under control.
And the mechanisms for this distraction are incredibly sophisticated. Look, losing 2 hours of your life mindlessly scrolling on Instagram or watching shorts isn't an accident. It's not because you just lack willpower. It's because tech giants employ entire teams of highly paid psychologists. They literally spend billions on research to engineer the settings, the colors, and the notifications of these apps just to hijack your brain's reward centers. They are intentionally designed to be deeply addictive. In a very real way, your mind is being controlled by someone else's business model.
Which brings us to part 4, the power of the subconscious mind.
So how do we actually fight back? Well, we switch from playing defense to playing offense by diving into the deepest, most mysterious, and arguably most powerful part of human potential. Hidden deep within our minds are incredible concepts that even top scientists are still trying to fully decode today. When you study psychology, you begin to unlock things like the immense power of visualization, literally using your subconscious to shape your reality. You tap into the sixth sense and you harness the power of your dreams. Your subconscious mind is this massive reservoir of untapped energy just waiting to be directed.
And that brings us to one of the most intriguing and maybe surprising advanced concepts mentioned in our source material: sex transmutation. Now, as the source strictly defines it, this is far more mental than it is physical. It's the psychological practice of taking raw, physical human energy and consciously transferring it into mental, creative, and productive energy. The idea here is that if this incredibly potent drive can be channeled and redirected towards your goals, it can force you to achieve incredible, profound greatness.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. History's absolute greatest leaders, innovators, and achievers didn't just stumble into success. Figures like Nikola Tesla, Mahatma Gandhi, Steve Jobs, Abraham Lincoln, and Swami Vivekananda. The source explicitly notes that these phenomenal minds attributed a huge part of their monumental success to mastering the specific psychological art. They learned exactly how to transmute their energy to fuel their genius.
Finally, let's wrap up with part 5, beginning your journey.
After covering all of this ground today, from defeating the snooze button to dodging addictive algorithms and unlocking the subconscious, I want to assure you that the journey to reclaiming your mind starts right now with the right knowledge. To help you get started, our source provided an incredible, totally screenshot-worthy list of 5 foundational books. If you want to master human psychology, definitely check these out. Read The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene to understand the dark side and the masks people wear. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman to understand your emotional versus logical brain. Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari for the big picture of humanity. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy to unlock your hidden potential. And finally, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill to really understand energy transmutation and success. These are your blueprints for total control.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer, and I want to leave you with one final, deeply important question. You now know that your mind is a weapon, and right now, algorithms, toxic people, and fleeting emotions are trying to wield it against you. So, the choice is entirely yours. Will you step up and control your mind, or will you sit back and let it control you? Don't be a victim of the algorithm. Start mastering your psychology today.